Dave here, how are you? Now you'll notice that I'm outside at the moment. I have a canopy set up so that we can keep the correct exposure for video today. The last time I did an outside show, it was terrible. Exposure was shocking all over the place. Now we will be working on the same area that I did in that show, and that's with these gates that we built 6 months ago, something like that. Now I do have a latch system on it, which works fine for me, but Vicky struggles with it. That's not because she's a bit slow. Not at all. She's a very cluey girl, but she's just not as tall as me and can't reach over to get to the things correctly. So we are going to put a very person-friendly latch system on instead. So here we go. Dave here, how are you? Dave here, how are you? I was down low because there is so much glare here. I've had to angle the camera. I've got a canopy up. I thought it would work well, but I think the other cameras that I've got set up around the area that I'm going to be working will help. Now, before we get into the project, I wanted to show you how the screen door came up. Now, this is the previous project that we've just finished, and it's fitted to the studio over there. I'll show you. It's quite glary out here, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you the fly screen door in situ with all of the paintwork finished. So there it is. And I spent a fair bit of time tidying up the surrounds. I missed that little bit of white paint up there, which I'm going to have to fix. But that doesn't look too bad there. Now, on the inside, that's the door that it's going to be marrying up against. And you'll see I've painted all of this, which was absolutely horrible. You don't notice these things until you do something that shows it all up. Oh, here's something else that I did. I changed all of the weather strip, the weather seal down the inside, because this was absolutely terrible all the way down. It was an old strip and it looked horrible. So that and paint, and that's what it looks like from the inside, which isn't too bad. I have an automatic closer on it. Now this closer also works quite well. This, I hadn't seen this design before, but this one is just a touch, let it go. You don't have to reef hard on it, and then you just push the door open, and there she goes. A little adjuster on the end, and it works beautifully. Closed. And then, as I say, we've got, bring you around, bring you back out here. I'll shut the inside door, if I can reach. Yep, it's all good. Hear that sound with the nice kadunk? That's the new weather strip. Just makes it so much better. So you can see why I chose to do the raised panels at the bottom. It looks just like the front door. I'm very happy with that. So there you go. Now you'll probably hear the sound is a little bit quieter from my mic. The reason being, I've turned it inside out. I've put it inside my shirt because there's a fair breeze here at the moment. I don't know how that's affecting the video or the sound coming through on the video. All right, if you can let me know, but as otherwise, just turn your volume up a little bit. The pre-recorded things were going to be louder. Need to do a quick read. That's nice. I can't count how many times I pinched my skin in those sliding little things over the years. That particular closer, the hydraulic closer, there are old-fashioned ones that still have the same kind of thing, like it's the same as a parallel clamp or a pipe clamp. It's an elongated hole that as you twist it, it tends to lock. And that's the same principle, but it's a really refined one. It's just a tiny little touch and it works perfectly. So all you have to do is open the door to where you want it, push that and let the door go, and then to deactivate it, just tap the door and it's done. It works really, really well. Sound is great here in Florida. Audio good, just a little quieter. All right, as I say, I've because I've turned the mic inside out. I couldn't find one of those big fluffy things to stick on the end of the microphone. Okay, so today we are going to have a look at this situation. I'll go to another camera, see if it's working all right. That is the bolt that I have on it at the moment. Now the reason that this is on here like this is I didn't want to have a drop bolt, like it's a throw bolt that goes straight down into the concrete. Because when I open this, I wanted it just to open up automatically both ways, both sides, and stay open. But it hasn't really been working that way because when the wind is really strong, it overpowers the springs that I've got down here, which are basically a gate closure spring. I've turned them the other way around to make them a gate opener spring. And this is another one of these units that I put on that side. So as I push it through the first hole, that will stop it, but it's not going to stop it going all the way. And then when you push it further, it locks into there. And that works really, really well. But the problem I have is because everything is kind of, well, this timber expands and contracts with the heat and the cold and everything. So this throw bolt tends to get caught a little bit, get a bit tight on some days. And Vicky's just a little bit shorter than me, and reaching over to see what's happening, I can see it easy, but she struggles with it a bit and she just doesn't use the gate, she goes around the other side. So I want to make it so it's super friendly for her to be able to use. Now to do this, I need to put a mark down on the ground first to work out where I'm going to drill a hole in the concrete. I'm going to be using my rotary hammer with an SDS drill in it. Now, for those that don't know what they are, I'll get one and I'll show you. So I'll put this back like this so the wind doesn't catch it. I'll come back over to this camera here. All right, so that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to put one of these guys, see the wind blowing around, you know, that's one of the things about being a long-haired weirdo these days. This is going to be the handle on the inside. It has a square shaft that goes through the gate, and then we're going to have another one of the handles on the other side with a holder to stop it going too far, and then a receiving latch on the stationary gate. So the gate on the left-hand side there is going to be my stationary gate with the drop bolt going into the concrete. I will only be accessing through the right-hand side. Here's a mess. And that hopefully will get my girl using the gate again, because, you know, I built all this stuff to be used and she's just walking around the other way. But anyway, okay, so the SDS drill, this is an SDS drill bit. Now it has this connection down at the end here. So you pull the head back on the chuck. It's a little bit like a Centratec chuck. You pull the end back on this, slide that in, and it locks hold. Now these, why do I use a rotary hammer drill instead of a drill that's got a hammer action, an impact hammer action? Oh, I'm hoping this canopy doesn't blow away. I've got 10 kilos of weight on each corner. It's 22 pounds on each corner. We use these for the market, so it should be good. If it gets too strong, I'll have to shut the show. Anyway, so this guy here has a hammer action. So you can see it's got a little hammer there, little drawing, or over on this side, it's just drilling. They work okay, but it's just a tiny little thing. It makes a hell of a racket. And they are slow in comparison to a rotary hammer. The rotary hammer I'll bring over. I've had this for probably 30 years. And I love it. You see the handle snapped off. I've used it for so long. Now I can also turn this to a jackhammer mode, which stops that spinning, and the rotary hammer just works as a jackhammer. Very, very, very handy little machine. Okay, so the SDS, we pull that back, expose the top like so, drop that in. I haven't used this for a long time, so I'm hoping it's still going to work. I'm hoping I don't have any animals living in it. There it goes. So that's how it'll work. You can put substantial sized drill bits in it. There's one that I used to use to go through concrete walls with that. It's amazing. Right. Now, I'm guessing all of you know what an SDS drill bit and a rotary hammer is. I'll have a quick read down the side while we're getting into it. Audio good, sound is good, fluffy thing is a cat, yes. Okay, hi Dave. What is the make of door closer you used on the screen? Doug, it's just one that I bought from Bunnings. I went into Bunnings. I don't mind telling people where I buy things these days. It doesn't really worry me. So just go into the area where door hardware, just ask one of the staff there, say, look, I'm after a door closer for a fly screen door, and they'll go, 17, down the end on the right-hand side. I'm getting a much better experience at Bunnings than I used to. You still get the occasional nuffy, but you know, everyone's got to start somewhere. Okay, and it was white. There was all different colors there, but you know, I think it was $25. All right, looks great. Sound is great. Yes, yes, yes. Bianca, sorry I'm late. Got caught up, lost track of time. Hi, sweetie, how are you? Love those twisted handles. I just got my forge assembled and can't wait to do twisty stuff like that. Well, great. Now, here's another thing. To set the show up outside today, I have had to stretch my internet connection like crazy. It's actually pulling tight in the air, and I've got cables hanging off that Tactics cart that I got, and Pierre is sniffing around the bottom. So if he disconnects something as well, we're offline. But not to worry. All right, so first thing I need to do, as I said, is mark that ground where it's got to go. So I will use a ruler, and I'll use a marking pen. The drill bit that I'm using is only 12 millimeters diameter. The throw bolt is, or the drop bolt is around 11. So I may have to open the hole up a little bit later on, but I couldn't find my smaller ones of these. I've got 3 of these. This is a 1 inch. I've got a 3/4 and a 1/2 inch. So I'll use the 3/4 down through the top when I can find it. Okay, let's go to that camera over there. Let's see if I can find it. That one, and I'll tip it down. Love those twists. Right, you've been talking about Nathan. Yeah, got one of the Bunnings the other day. Person who was walking around in a section where it usually doesn't work, needed something. Then I saw it was a great person. You know, I used to give them a hard time all the time. So my thoughts are give them a break now. So what I have here is I'm going to measure the distance out to the center of my throw bolt. And I've got to measure that from there. Now, this ruler, I've cut the end off. So it's right on 0. The other end has got around 4 or 5 millimeters on it. Do yourself a favor, just cut it off flush, because I nearly stuffed up there. So that is going to be to the center, 23 millimeters. I will use a level to put a mark on the floor. Down here, I'll come to the inside for this part. That's how it's going to be working, but it's going to be a lot easier than what I did just then. Okay. Right. There we go, you can see where I'm at. So I put a little mark on the ground there. I've got to come out 23 millimeters to the center of where the SDS drill is going to go. And we'll go there. You can see how it bleeds out really quickly. I'll look down the side. That's pretty close. If it's not spot on, it's not going to stress me out. Really, it's not. I'm just going to go with it. And I'm going to put the hole in first, because then when I put this bolt onto here, I'll put the bolt in the hole and then line it up level on this, and then just put the screw holes in and screw it off. That's our first job. But first of all, well, it's not our first job, because I've got to get the drill over here, knock the hole in the ground. I'll let that come over, and hopefully it doesn't hit the camera's legs. And I'll use the cool eye muffs. Okay, if you like what I'm doing, click the like and the share button and all that kind of stuff. There's the hole there. It's not going to make a horrible big noise, but let's see how we go. One of the other things I forgot to mention was when you're doing this stuff, always make sure, I'll come up just a little bit, not too far. Make sure that there's no services underneath here. I know where all the services are in this building and underground because I did all the work here, did all the concreting and built the building. But I know all my services are over there. So look for things that are going to be a telltale sign. And I think you can see them over on the side there. There's a tap. You see the sewer comes out of the building. There's another area there for a vent. And the water's going down through there. And there's an orange conduit over there, which is the power. So it's good to know where everything is. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. If you hit something, it's not so much hurting yourself. I'm opening the hole up a little bit as I go. But if you hurt yourself, that's one thing. But the other thing is you don't want to be without services. This is not ideal to do this, but I'm doing it anyway, because I'm naughty. Okay. Best not to just go like that because you'll go down the hole. Just flick it out the sides. And that will do us for the moment. I'll move this back. See how quick that was in comparison to using a hammer drill, an ordinary hammer drill in an ordinary drill. That was super quick. What are we going to do next? We're going to take that drop bolt off from up here. Tip this up over to here. I can take this all the way up. There's a little thing that does that. Pop that down there. Undo these two screws. See if I can find a screwdriver drill. There we go. Got the clutch on. Should come out now. Got him. Don't lose them down the hole. All right. Twist this down again. See what we're doing. I'm going to check that it'll fit. It does, but not great. That really does need to be opened up. I wish I had that other one. And it's leaning over at an angle. So now that I've got that in there, I can see I've got a much better idea of what I've got to do to clean that hole up. I'm going to go in with the SDS drill again. And hopefully not take out my camera. Push that over there. So I need to go at an angle like that. Let's see how that goes. That's a lot better. Still not perfect, but a lot better. Now I'm not going to let the thing go all the way down into the ground to the full depth of the hole. I'm going to set it so it only goes in around about half an inch. Now the reason I'm going to do that is that that's going to fill up with rubbish over time. So I don't want to kind of restrict what's happening there. It'll make sense when I show you in a minute. Okay. Do I need a drill bit for that? I probably do. Give me a second. What have I got? I'll put that one on there. Now I'm going to use the centering drill bit if it reaches. This will be interesting to see if this works. Remember, this is live. If you've come to watch this and think everything's just going to go swimmingly, it doesn't happen on live. You ask anyone, they'll tell you. All right, bring this back, and I'll bring this up a little bit now. About there, and I can put the drop bolt in.
It really is important to put the drop bolt in prior. Okay. Because then it makes it so easy to line it up. Now, I said I wasn't going to let it go all the way down, so I'm going to let it go down to there. All right. Now I'm going to take that out. Going to hold onto it. Take it out. Come on, you can do it. All the way out. Holding it. Drill a hole. And one there. Pull this out. Forwards. One. Two. Done. It's not going anywhere. Job done. Okay, next thing. Now that that's all done there, we need to work up here. I did have to space this out with a piece of wood. Let me see if you can still see what I'm doing here. I had to space this out with a block of wood in there. I'll come in a little bit closer so you can see it. That's going to be good. Look at that. How cool is that? Okay. So down here, you can see I put this block of wood in the behind because the throw bolt was out a distance. So I needed to bring this one, which didn't have the same outreach. See that, the distance from there to there? It doesn't have it on this one for some strange reason. I've got no idea. But anyway, I put that support in. So we've got to cut that off and make it look like it's always been like that. We'll undo those screws. This is good. I think Vicky's going to be very happy. It was probably put on while the paint was still wet because I get impatient. So I'm just going to grab a hammer because I don't know if I put screws in behind that as well. If I did, I could be asking for a bit of trouble if I was to go in with a saw now. Got it. Nope, no other screws in there. Now I know that I glued this on. There's no way that that's going to release easily. If I tap it, the glue is always stronger than the wood. So I will cut it with a handsaw. See, now that it's held, now that this is held, it's going to make all the rest of the work pretty easy. Now, one of the things I've got to be careful with here is I don't butcher this part up too much. So I'm just going to go in slowly. And see how we go. Didn't think I could use a handsaw, did you? Everything was battery powered. This is David powered. Haven't hit anything yet. Lucky so far. I'm wearing the earmuffs because they've got the sunglasses on them. Eye muffs, I should say. Try and use as much of the blade as possible. If you can. I'm not using a long saw because what would happen is start doing this. So I'm using a short saw so I don't get any flex in the blade, so I have more control. So hopefully this is going to make me look good, make me look like I know what I'm doing. Now, this is a crosscut saw, not a rip. That's why it's taking a while. And it's not the best brand. I'm going to hold that like that as well. I'm not pushing hard, just holding it. There we go. Now I'm going to use my little block plane. I guess I could have taken it off the hinge. Pardon me. Getting down very, very close. Pardon me again. Look at that. Now don't ask me why that happened, but I'm glad it did. Beautiful. I'm pretty happy with that. What'll I do now? I might give it a quick touch with some sandpaper. This is 80 grit. Done. Done, done, done. I'll come back over here out of the sun and a quick drink. And back to this other camera when I take my eye muffs off so I can see what's going on. There. All right. Okay. Let me read. Looks good. Morning all, been a while. Hi Graeme. Carl. Everyone's having a little chat. Brave move, expecting a flush cut. Yep. I would have been there for a month of Sundays with a flush cut. Time for a show that is basically only hand tools. Cordless battery drill is okay. Well, thank you, Nathan. You like the Japanese saw, Bink? How's our young lady and the rest of the family be? Yanka, they are awesome. I have a couple and they work grouse. Yes, they do. They work really good. David hasn't got many flush cut though of Japanese saws. I've got two. And they work great. Look at it blowing around behind me there. How good is that? It's all locked. Okay, Sean, how are you, buddy? What time is it over there? You're in Wales, aren't you? Let me know. All right, I've had my refreshment. Time to get, I was going to say, back in the saddle. 11:30, 11:30. Right, the next thing to do is to drill the hole for the through bolt. So this is the latch mechanism. Okay, so this is going to get mounted via the holes and that will lock it in position, and then when this turns it lifts that at the same time. Now there is a connecting square section piece of steel that goes in there, and then we've got another one on the other side that it goes to. Now that is obviously way too wide for my gate, so I'm going to have to trim it down. So I'm going to measure the width that I have here. And remember how I said, cut the end off your ruler? I don't know if you can see that. See that? I've cut it off so it's right on the end. The other end, it doesn't go to the end. And that will trip you up big time. It's got me a few times. Not saying that I'm infallible, but bloody hell, it's annoying. It's an easy fix. So I'm going to measure the width that I have in total here, which is 75 overall. Just looking at it, maybe 72. 75. So 75 is my gap. The width of my material on the gate is 30. So 75 minus 30 is 45. I'm going to take 50 millimeters off this. That will give me a little bit of room. There's a fair bit of play on the end there. See as it's going in? So what did I say? 50. Take 50 off it. I like to check these things, so I'm going to actually put this on here. It's 105 long. If I take 50 off, it's going to leave me with 55 millimeters. 30 millimeters for the actual thickness of this gate leaves 25, and that's 12 millimeters receiver into both ends. That's fine. 50 millimeters off. And we're going to do that with this bad boy down here. I'll spin this camera around and see if it's going to work. And you can watch Dave huff and puff with another hand tool. I'll see if this one works. Give me a sec. Where are we? There we go. So I'm going to use the super jaws. I was going to bring my bench out, but the super jaws is outside, and it's basically a tool that I use outside all the time. Now I've got to find this part, which is here. And I better put a mark on where I'm going to be cutting it off. Again, get in the way of the camera. Sorry about that. What's up here? It's almost halfway. You know, if I did it halfway, it'd still work. Now the super jaws, I'll put the lock on, and without cutting my fingers, actually I'll turn it around the other way because it's easier, because then you can put your foot on it. Bring it all the way back to there. Bring this camera back over here. It's got too much of the background on it. That's looking a bit better. Release it and go to the other side. Lock it. Gotcha. Okay. Now this way I can put my foot on that little guy down the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that. This is the actuator to make the clamp work. And then you keep your foot on it to hold it steady while you're cutting. And it doesn't go all over the place. Now one of the things you're going to like is this. This is my hacksaw blade. And it's rat shit. So I'm going to have to take it off. So this particular hacksaw, you undo this one here. That's your tensioner. Yeah, that blade has absolutely had it. And I couldn't find a blade this morning for love nor money. So eventually I found one. It was in my hand hacksaw. And I'm so glad. Now with these, you can set it up like a Japanese saw if you want to. I like to have the teeth on the downstroke. So Western style. Pop that in there. Undo it a little bit more. Got it. And then we tighten it up. Yeah, people have been asking me about my hair being a little bit bushy and about time for a trim, Dave. I'm going to grow it. I'm going to go for a couple of years if I can handle it. I'm going back to the 70s. I had really long hair in the 70s. It was way down my back. And I have this grey area. It's like a ring. It goes right around the back. I know I've got other grey as well, but there's this one particular ring that makes me look like Friar Tuck. So I'm not interested. I'm going to grow it out, and hopefully it'll be all the way down the bottom. Everyone will say, wow, how'd you do that? Looks like you got tie-dye hair. Special. Anyway, back down to here, back to the job at hand. You may want to turn the sound down a little bit as I do this. a fresh blade makes all the difference. Gotcha. And with this thing, there's a little clip on the back. You push up, you push back down on the there, and be careful, this is going to be warm. That releases it. Done. Ta-da. Okay, let's check that they're going to fit. Yeah, look, before I go totally bald, I want to have one last hurrah and grow the hair and see what happens. Okay, slide that in. No, it needs a file. Well, it'll go, but I'm going to grab a file. Give me a sec. I don't want to force it just because I'm doing the show. I want it to end up being nice. What do you reckon, Pierre? Hopefully I keep the sound. All right, coming back again. My good file is in my toolbox, and I didn't want to go all that way in just in case I did lose the sound all the way in there. Let me see, I've still got sound. Yep, it's coming back again. Going to be the Bob Ross of woodworking. Has Bob Ross, is he still alive? I'm going to switch this around and down here whilst I give it a quick file. You know, a lot of people will give me curry about it, but I don't care. You know, it's your life. Live it how you want to and enjoy it. Yeah. Remember when I first built the workshop and my mum said to me, what are you going to make? And my answer was, I'm going to make David happy. Like, she just couldn't comprehend that I would invest this much money instead of, you know, doing other things into making a little workshop. Well, it's not a little workshop, it's a nice sized workshop. It's not massive by any stretch of the imagination. Anyone who's been here to visit will tell you the first thing they say, oh, it's not as big as I thought it was. No, it's not. Anyway, but I'm not saying, oh, woe is me, I don't have a very big workshop. I love my workshop, and with the garage as well. It's just great. But we're getting off the subject. Now we've got to put a, what do we got to do? We got to put the hole in there and drill it through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these drills. Now this is not a Festool drill bit, but it has a Centratec chuck connection on the end. These are from Axminster. Now I have been trying with Axminster to get a discount code for you guys. They're not going to do it. The reason being, if they did it for me, they'd have to do it for all the people that have an affiliation with them. I've only just created an affiliation with these guys because if you want to get TSO products in Australia, but the shipping is unbelievably costly, you use my link, and it's down the bottom. It's tinyurl.com/Axminster tools or something, whatever it is. Use that. You spend over $100, you get free shipping, and they sell TSO products. So I have been working and working and working to get this happening. I finally got it done. So there's a handy tip. Now Axminster sell these as well. This is a 12mm Centratec brad point drill bit. And that's going to leave a really clean entrance and exit. But I am still going to clamp a waste block on the back because I do not want to tear out everything on the back. Even though it's going to be behind the handle, I don't want to do that. So I'll spin this around this way and let's see how we go with all of this. I might just bring this over here a bit further and down. Well, that should get it. So I'll bring this back to here. And I'm going to do two things with this. I'm going to clamp it on, like so. And I want it to act as a stop so that the wood isn't going to come through. Sorry, the gate isn't going to keep on opening and closing. I'll get another clamp. Bring that guy back. And I can put another one over here. And remember, we've got, how's that? Not going anywhere. Now I can drill here easily and not have, you know, be fighting against all of it. This is the outside, and now here's the question, where do I put it? And do I line the holes up like so, or do I do it that way? I'm thinking this way. You know why? My reasoning is that if I do them with the holes horizontally and vertical instead of diagonal, or this way, that's wider, and I'm going to go closer to the edge. I want to try and keep all the screws in the middle, as much in the middle as possible. So I'm going to go center. The lift, it'll be fine, it won't go past there, so I need to come across to about there. I think I'm going to come down just a little bit lower than center so that the lift doesn't look weird on the other side. Now the other thing I have to do before I drill that hole is make sure that the tang, that this guy, because let's pretend we're on the other side of the gate now, it's going to be okay and can lift up and down. That's good. I might have to bring it over just a little bit because I've got to get another piece in here, and I'll show you that piece. This is basically a keeper. This holds onto it here. Now, if that, let's pretend we're down here. Voice isn't too good with that stuck in my gob. Okay, there. So I have to make sure that I'm that far away. So it's lucky that I got that and had a look. Otherwise I would have been in strife. This would have been in the middle. Don't rush things, that's the secret. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one up. That's going to be the center of my hole. All right, let's drill that out now. I'm going to do this left-handed at the risk of stuffing it up. No, you know what? I'm not going to do it left-handed. I'm going to do it right-handed. I'll do this so you can see underneath. There we go. Look how clean that entry is. Brad point drill bits. Beautiful. Now, I'm probably going to go through one of the domino tenons as well. Remember I made them out of hardwood, mobile decking? I think it was mobile decking. It might have been teak. I can't remember. I'm into the domino already. The next thing I want to do is just make sure that I'm horizontal. Yes, that looks good that way, and that way is fine as well. So I can push all the way through and go into the waste on the other side. I'm not all the way through yet. I'm not going to put my fingers down the back because I might go through and catch myself. That's it. All right. Now let's see about putting the lazy one on this side. This is the outside activator. So that'll fit, not a problem. So I'm going to put the pin through from the other side. So that square section. There it is. I can take this off now and leave the other one on, so it's still going to hold it in position. Slide this through. Of course, I have to move that. I'll just drop it down lower. And that's still going to act as a stop for me. Slide this guy through. There it is. Put this one on. And turn it around to where I want it. Okay, and I'll give it a little bit of a jiggle to make sure it's right. I'm going to come back for a read and have another quick drink. Where are we up to? Okay, so Rob Crosman's growing his hair, is he as well? Why not? Look, I'm guessing it's just old farts do that kind of stuff. I'm going to kneel down. Sorry. I was on my feet all day yesterday at the markets down at Barrel for Vicky, and we had great days. She's killing it. She's having a ball. She is so busy, and you can see the glow in her face when she's financially independent and she's her own person, and she's come to life. She's the girl I married. You know when you get married, I'm jumping off the subject. You get married, things are great, and it becomes mundane. You have kids, and next thing you know, you're flat out. You hardly even know each other anymore, and then all the kids bugger off, and that's so good. Like, I love them, but they all nick off, and then you just have you have to learn to live with each other again, and then we have, and now she's become independent financially as well, which is fantastic. And she's just that person that I married, the person I fell in love with. Do it. If you're having a rough time with a marriage, there's Dave's tip for you. Stick it out, and both of you in for the good time. Where are we? See you later, Graeme. Don't look at us as going bald. It's evolution. You become more dynamic. Is that right, Idle Ants? You could use an angle grinder. I could. Everyone's saying goodbye. The beauty of a sharp drill bit. Please make the handle straight. It will be straight. Just like I put 3 lights in the lounge room instead of 4. That's ticked her off. Okay, give me a sec. I'm going to use that same drill bit, this one here, which is the self-centering drill bit. I'll put some links up for this as well, because these are just brilliant. I love them. I'll take this off, put this one back on. People ask me why I like Festool, because it works. I've had these for years. You know how long I've had this little guy here for about 9 years, and it works like the day I bought it. I love it. Okay. All right, coming back to here, I'll turn that other camera on, which is this one. There we go. All right, it's a little clown's face. There we go, about there. That's looking pretty good. And up and down and there. 1, 2. I'm going to go with that to start. Put the screws in. When I find them, there's a little packet here. I'm not showing you what the packet looks like. It's just a little packet of screws. And they're not galvanized. They will probably bleed everywhere with first sign of rain, but we'll see what happens. In you go. Back to that. And this one, tip it up a little. Come on. Undo that one just a touch then. Undo, David, I said, not do up. Okay, up we go. And this one, done. Okay. Now, those 2 holes, put the other 2 screws in. I guess I should have just checked whether or not it was still turning all right. It is, it's turning fine. Beautiful. See how they just center perfectly? I love these drill bits. And these are the cheap ones. Like, I think it was $7 for a set. Come on, that's insane. How the hell do they do it? There's a mob called VixBits, and they really got annoyed with me when I shared the link to getting these ones, which were cheaper. People were saying, oh, the chamfer's no good. I said, I know the chamfer's no good. What I did, like the chamfer on the end to line up with the countersink, what I did was I just took it over to my grinding wheel or sandpaper and made the chamfer better, and it was brilliant. That's where you got the tools. There we go. So when Vicky comes down here, that's all she's got to do. All right, let's go over the other side. And we're nearly done. We're nearly done. Live UK, hi mate. G'day number stations, how are you? We'll go to this camera here and we'll take a few more fittings with us that, and the drill, and that. I think that's all I need to take him to the other side. And we'll release this. Come around this side. Close this. And that looks a bit crappy at the moment. We'll fix it. Put all that stuff down. I'll put this block here to hold it steady. There, of course. Ah, idiot. Tighter than that, David. That's better. Okay, so now I've got that held there, that's held there. That can't push in. Remember, I was a little bit concerned about it going too far. I think we'll be okay. I better check. Yep, look at that. I'm turning it from the other side. Cool. Okay, so now, here's one of the other things. I could have made that a little bit longer. I really could have. The other one might be longer. That's a thought. That's a thought. My offcut might be longer. Maybe I should have left it a little bit longer. Not to worry. I'm procrastinating, and I've got to check. I have to check. Sorry. I do have to check. I don't want to put the wrong one in. Well, there's another tip for you straight away from Dave. What I would suggest is when you're cutting them, cut it so one is slightly longer than the other, so that you've got a spare. There it is down on the ground. You have a spare that will do it if the one that you just cut is too short. I wonder if that's shorter. Or longer, I should say. No, it's shorter. Bugger. Oh, well, it's only a little bit of square. Not to worry. I think we'll be okay. I'll put that in there. Shut this. Yeah, I cut that just a little bit too short. That's annoying. Everything was going swimmingly until then. That is annoying. Okay. All right, so we'll put this on first, and then I can slide the keeper over it. We'll drill the holes, of course. Right, now, I was going to say, on this side, I'm going to go that way. Remember on the other side I went like so. I'm going to tip it around this way so that the screws don't run into each other. Oh, that is really annoying. Oh, brilliant. Brainwave, brainwave, brainwave. Look out, look out, look out. I just had a brilliant idea. I'm going to cut 5 millimeters off that. I'm going to do it right now. Ha ha! I was thinking I'd had a tragedy, but no. We'll tip this one down. I'll show you exactly what I mean I'm going to do. I'm going to cut 5 millimeters off this, and I'm going to put it in as a spacer because I've got more than that happening. So it's 12 mil that I've got happening there. So we'll bring this up. There we go. I think I've saved it. I think I have. It can't be too big, the spacer. It's just got to be about 5 mil. Remember I said I had about 12 millimeters? Where the hell's that gone? Bugger. It went flying. Pierre, where did it go? I don't have a magnet with me. Ordinarily, I would go around with a magnet. Bugger it, just keep on going, do another one. Okay, everyone, you watch where it is. Pierre's on the ground looking for it now. Okay, we're watching. I was rushing a little bit. I know where that one is. Done. And it's warm. Of course it's warm, David. Okay. Put it on the ground and let it cool off. Take that out. And I could put a little bit of glue on the end of it to hold it steady as I put it in there. I think it's going to be okay. Now I'm going to need a spacer on the other side. I do need to glue it together, and I do need a spacer on the other side. Otherwise, what's going to happen, I'll just explain it quickly. If this is held out on one side, well then it could drop off and push all the way into the other side. So I need the other one as well to make sure that they're both pushing. I should have really put a little bit of glue on there, or I need to buy another one. That might be the trick. Just a bit of square, or I could make one out of hardwood. Don't know how long it'd last, but I could do that. I'm a little annoyed with myself. I've jumped the gun. Good morning, Ron. I cut twice and it's still too short. Exactly right. Put a small pal in the handle so the shaft doesn't go so far. Peace, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Should read down Great Minds Think Alike. I found the first one. It's what's the bet Dave finds a piece at the end of the show? I probably will. Look, it's got to be down here somewhere. Once I get down on the ground, normally what I do is I get down on the ground, I put my head right down on the ground and I look sideways, right across the surface. And that works most of the time, except for this time it's not gonna. Of course, because there's a time limit on me. All right, so I've cut one and I've still got that one in there. So I can cut another short as well for the other side. Okay, let me have a think. This is cooled down now, and that's okay. I need to spin this camera around this way. That might work where I am over there, so you can see what I'm up to. I'm going to undo this again, put this in it, and we should be good. Undo this bad boy. That's annoying. That really is annoying. Okay, drop that little spacer in. And then push it down neatly. Done. Okay, I'm happy now. I really, small things make me happy, don't they? So that's that one, and I will cut another one for the other side. Put this in the pocket. Change pocket. Do you ever use one of these little change pockets? Who uses change these days? And like they're getting rid of ATMs in Australia now. I think that's just crazy. Cashless society and Big Brother and all of that stuff. You know, well, if it wasn't for Big Brother and all that kind of stuff and this technology, I wouldn't be able to do this show for you. You'd be kind of at a loss as to what to do on a Sunday. You'd have a real life and be at the beach or something today instead of sitting on a couch watching what I get up to. Okay, put this guy in. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to put it in with the cut end because that will grab a little bit better, I think. Oh, I'm happy. I'm so happy now. I'll go to this camera here because we can keep going it now. All right. What's the bet? Yes, okay. Back to camera 4. See how far it's protruding now? I'm all good. I'm all good. Until, of course, Vicky comes through here and can't undo the gate. She'll be jumping up and down. I'll be over at the up in the house. I thought I heard something down the backyard. Let me out, you bastard. That's what she'll be saying. Oh dear. All right, this guy. Now remember I was going to rotate it around and go the other direction before we had that stuff up. Okay, that's where it is. And I'm lifting it up just a little bit to take the weight off it. Making sure it can turn, and it can. And that drill. No, I haven't got the screws here, have I? Stay, stay, don't fall off. Gently, gently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Around the other side, stay there. Done. A couple more holes. One more there. And then that's done. Done. Okay. I can activate it from the other side. How cool is that? Now we've got to put the keeper on it. Slide that down to there. And I'm not going to screw that off until I've got this one on. So I'm just going to put the keeper on there and do magic. No, I'm going to take that off. I'll go over and get the rest of it. Otherwise it would have been tears again. Bushwalks and picnics. Okay, where is the last piece? Don't tell me I've lost it. Come on, this is crazy. I had it here. Have I taken it out there? Surely not. Yep, there it is. Idiot. All right, back to there, and I'm going to put my David assist piece of wood back on so it doesn't keep on coming backwards and forwards. I should have brought the one-handed clamp out. There we go. And this and this one. Okay, so we slide this one on first, and then we put this one on underneath. So that's where it's going to go. I think about there, so it looks kind of level. What do you reckon? I think that'll do me. Couple of screws. Aerodynamic, eh? I like that. So that's what you say to bald guys. Oh no, what happened there? Did it strip? Or did it just, yes, it stripped. It went into the, I'll show you a trick for that in a second. Okay, put the keeper on so it can't drop. I'm going to let it go down just a touch. Yeah, there's a way around that. Going in too deep. Back the clutch off. Gotcha. Okay, that's it. Get rid of this. I need to do some painting. So when it closes on its own, beautiful. I'm going to drop that hinge ever so slightly on the other side to marry that up. But that makes me happy. Now to fix that, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Oh, Vicky will be really happy with this. I'll pull it shut. That's working well. I'll go around to this camera. Give me a second, I'm just going to grab something. How are we doing for time? Right on it, nearly done. Just grabbing something out of the workshop. And where's my glue? Glue, 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 where are you? There it is. It's in my toolbox. I love this toolbox. All right. And what have I got there? I need a chisel as well. Sorry about this. Got it. Live, live, live. All right, now this is a trick that a lot of you probably know already, but for people that don't, you know, that are just starting off, like we all got to start somewhere, is, and a bit of this. Dave, you're restricted to your workshop next week. Fresh air isn't, it's not straight. I don't care. Where did I put that? Let me get back to this other camera inside. That's so easy to come in now. Vicky, you'll love it. Okay, it's very easy. It's just get a match. I'm going to snap the head off it. Why? Because I just will. And a little bit of glue, but I'll take that out first. I may be doing a few of these because that drill may have been just slightly too big. Get the screwdriver and don't try and undo it with the drill, do it with the screwdriver. That's so good. I love it. You know what, I'm going to do one there as well. This is pine. It didn't really need to have much depth of screwing in there at all. That's there. I'm using a sharp chisel so that it's not going to pull at the grain and pull it out. There we go. And I don't really need to wait for it to dry. Just put the screw straight in. I'll be taking all this off to paint it anyway. There, you can hear the clutch engaging. Done. Beautiful. Next thing to do is paint this. Well, I'm going to have to reverse the springs to be closed instead of open. Back to this guy here. Alrighty. Well, that's that. I don't know what we're going to do next week, but we're getting a bit of a breeze here. Hopefully we don't get any fires during the week, because it really is going to be bushfire season with this weather. So you saw the result from the fly screen door, how cool it looks, and why I didn't just leave it cedar and painted it. It blends in with the building beautifully. I'm very happy with that. I'll just do a quick view from here so you can see what I'm looking at. So that's the studio over there, and the front door and all the solar panels. That's one of 3 buildings on the property that has solar panels on it. And man, oh man, I'm so glad we've done that, because we do not have to pay anything for electricity. It was a big investment. You know that I spent a lot of money. I had a small inheritance and I decided to spend it wisely, and I invested it in more solar and batteries. And I'll tell you what, I'm so glad I did. I have credit with my electricity provider. I don't pay, and we use a truckload of electricity. Okay, next week, hair care tips for us being aerodynamic. 48 here and only 24 thumbs up. Look, you're going to get that, Chris. It doesn't worry me. That you knew it was going to be the redhead trick. Yep, I could have shaved a little piece of wood with a chisel and everything and tapped it in. But look, I'm starting to do the girl thing. Cut that out, cut that out. Anyway, I'm going to say see you later. And I threw the intro on again today because I thought, you know what, it's been a while since we've seen it, and it didn't hurt. All right, look after yourselves, be nice to each other. We will have the Patreon meeting in a couple of minutes. If I can, I don't know how it's going to work because I have cable stretched like you would not believe in here. Right, it's aerial in the garage. I had to pull the internet cable that tight. I'll see if I can move things back over into the garage, and we'll have the Patreon meeting. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and I shall see you all next week. Bye.